right, y'all. We back with another reaction right here on ABP Reactions, and right now it's going down, man. 50 Cent and Camron is in a cold feud online with Jim Jones. Let's get caught up. Let's see what's going on.
Hey man, what's going on out there with Dipset these days? Now that everybody has their own podcast and own platform, every other month, Jim Jones and Camron are getting into it with each other. And more times than not, it's usually about the same things. And it's always about somebody trying to change the narrative of something that happened in the past with him. Jim Jones recently did an interview with the No Rap Cap podcast. Please make sure you guys go check out their channel and go check out the interview. Now, in this interview, while he was talking about Harlem and Big L, Jim Jones went out of his way to claim that Camron was terrified of Big L's brothers. Here's what he said.
Dame impact in Harlem was nothing. Not to say it like that. Dame came up under hustlers that impact was it. He was a little dude when it came to hustling in Harlem. He wasn't not no Rich Porter, none of that type of. He wanted to hustle. He wanted to hustle for niggas like Rich Porter and shit like that. Dame from the East Side. And the East Side is different from the West Side. Now for the East Side, Dame was a big deal to us because we were little. When he was coming from the West Side, little car, jewelry, and all that. So when you're young, he's looking like Rich Porter, but in reality, you know, he was like, just go to the store, take a couple grams, get out of here.
The Rap Cap Podcast.
When you cancel out the street side of it and go into the music business of it, what was his impact with Dipset at that time?
He didn't have no impact with Dipset. Dipset, we made our impact on our own.
When y'all came over to Rockefeller, did y'all bring a certain energy that kind of ruffled the feathers of like state property and people like that?
No, we came over to Rockefeller, it was all love. Everybody in the studios doing music.
Damn, I remember, this just gave me flashbacks of when Dipset teamed up with Dame Dash during the Rockefeller era. You know, if you're from my generation, you remember that for sure. Dame Dash was definitely like hands-on with Dipset, and you could tell that Jay-Z wasn't fucking with the Dipset side of shit. And that's when you saw like the split, the divide and conquer of Rockefeller, where it felt like two sides. And then he went on to make like Camron president of Dipset, of Rockefeller or something. That shit was crazy. That was a crazy time in hip hop, man, like being younger and watching all that unravel. I think that might have kicked off. I'm sure it's way more behind the scenes stories that it was like a fallout happening before that with Dame and Jay-Z, but I definitely remember them grabbing up Dipset and Hove clearly not fucking with it.
State property, leaking them, diplomats. Everybody was doing music there. That shit ain't started until they went through all that damn shit.
Could you else say Cam took over the rock, huh?
I mean, Mace was talented. He was a dancer. And Mace didn't excel at the rapping really to after high school they started getting on and shit like that, and then he excelled and started getting on first and signed first, and then that helped Cam and everybody get on and shit like that. But as far as making a name for themselves in the street, nobody had no name in the street like that. You know what I mean?
Big L.
Big L had a name for himself. He was rapping early. He was signed early. He had some dangerous ass brothers. They was uptown, really shaking and moving and shit like that. You dig? And that's not my part of town. That was uptown. You dig? Yeah, Cam used to be scared to death of them niggas to the point he didn't want to come outside. I didn't understand.
See, Jim Jones. This is why you and Cam can't never get it. He always makes sure at some point in his interviews that he throw a jab at Camron, bro. Them niggas been going back and forth for so fucking long, dog. Like, bruh, and listen, man, if you from the era of the Dipset era, man, like that was a time, man. Like, you want to see these niggas come together. I do. I want to see them come together and all get it together. But I think it's officially done. Because they done fell out so many times, got cool, fell out again. I think this time it's all the way done, man. It's all the way done now.
Stand it, because I'm from downtown. You heard? We had our own set of killers.
Now, from what we publicly know, Cam was very respected out in Harlem. Obviously, him and Big L came up together. They had a group called Children of the Corn as well. Mace was in that group. McGruff was in that group as well. Now, whether or not Cam was terrified of Big L's brothers, I'm going to leave that up to the people from Harlem to let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if you're from Harlem and you know about this story, and if Jim Jones isn't lying, let us know in the comment section, man. If you're from New York, even if you're not from Harlem per se, but if you know that this story and Jim Jones is telling the truth, let us know. Or if Jim Jones is cap, Let us know in the comment section.
But after seeing Jim Jones trying to talk down on him in this interview, Cam said enough is enough, and he went on Instagram to shoot back at Jim Jones. Cam posted saying, "Yo, how you worried about me when your heat off and your rent due? I heard it was 7 degrees in the Bronx last night." Hey, first off, this is kind of crazy. How and why does Camron know that Jim Jones' heat was off at his podcast studio?
Hey, man, 50 Cent been on that nigga. Like, they got the inside information somehow. I mean, you know, these niggas is in a different tax bracket. They can find out all kind of shit about this unit this nigga got rented out or he purchased or whatever. But they definitely be having the inside information on Jim Jones' establishment.
Jim then goes in the comments to respond back to Camron. Jim tells him, "Yo, go do your shoot, punk." Cam responds back saying, "What's wrong, Capo? Your heat off too? I ain't know. It's hate for you to be 50 years old with no heat. What's your Zell, bro? I got you." He told him, "A Block know you soft." Cam responds back saying, "Yeah, but my heat on, and I'm warm. You 50 years old, tough and cold."
See, you can't fuck with it. Like, Cam on your ass, Jim Jones. That tough guy approach, it ain't gonna work in this situation, man.
But dead ass though, Capo, your heat off for real? Now it continues. Jim Jones told him, "Yo, Cam, you're soft. Your whole crew's soft." And now this is where things get a little bit crazy. Jim tells him, "Yo, you want to play? Pull up. Let the people see how soft you are, chump." Cam responds back with more jokes. He says, "Jomo, you 50 and still want to pull up?"
Listen, man, when niggas is trolling, you're going to lose, bro. If you in your feelings and you emotional and you go against somebody who trolling, you're going to lose because all they going to do is counter you and say the opposite of what you're saying and what you're doing look like and clown what you're doing. So, like, you're trying to play this old tough guy role on the internet. That shit don't work, man. We learned that a long time ago. We had to go through it, all of us. Like, you can't be that on here, man, because they're going to say, "Oh, you ain't tough, you ain't this." They don't believe it anyway. 9 times out of 10, nobody watching believe that you're tough anyway. You can be the toughest nigga in the world, get on this microphone and say you tough, and they're going to be like, "Shut your bitch ass up. You know you're not." You know what I'm saying?
Got the video of you breaking in your own studio, trying to trigger the heat system, and chasing your landlord around in his car because he want his rent. Nah, dog, in no way, bro. In no way. You are 50. Go pull up on that heat bill. Why do people know Jim Jones's business? This is now the second person that's told us the man has not paid his rent. Who keeps on leaking this information to 50 Cent and Camron? Nah, fuck that. If I'm Jim Jones, I'm daring Camron to post this. I gotta know who sent you this goddamn video of me trying to trigger my heat system and also chasing my landlord around.
We gotta find that video, man. If we can find that video, somebody find that video, drop it in the Discord, man. We need to find that video if it's out there.
That is way too specific to be a lie. I'm sorry, you guys. This is evil. Jim Jones has a mole in his podcast studio, and this has to be addressed ASAP. Now, 50 also chimed in as well. He said, "Damn, I hope you can all chip in and get the heat back on." Then he says, "Damn, Jim mad. With all this pressure, I hope he's all right." Cam is laughing at him. Maybe they can start a fire and all stand around it.
This nigga 50 is funny, girl. Hey, you got Cam and 50 going at you, and both them niggas funny as a motherfucker, bro. They own this nigga. Nigga said maybe they can start a fire and all stand around it.
50 Cent gotta be top 2 instigators in the world out there. Now, as funny as this is, and trust me, this is fucking hilarious. At a certain point, if you're Jim Jones and Camron, this is just comedy and content for you, right? We're going to see Jim go back on his podcast, Let's Rap About It. He's going to address this because this is how they've been addressing issues the last couple of months. And if you're Camron as well, this is more content for you too. Cam is going to go and talk with Lee. He might bring up a mutual friend to confirm that he was not terrified of Big L's brothers, which for him, that's going to get him views. These guys are not going to pull up on each other and squabble. It's not going to happen. And keep in mind, Cam knows where Jim Jones records at. He knows where his studio is. So no, this is not any street beef. This is...
You know what's crazy? Now I'm sitting here like listening to this and how he keeps saying they're going to talk about it on Let's Talk About It podcast. And I'm like, damn, they really have made the niche of that podcast about beef. Because you don't see nothing else go viral from that podcast with Mano, Fabulous, and and Jim Jones and Davies, besides like them talking about beef clips or beefing with 50 Cent or Mano and academics and it hasn't been like any viral clips I have seen, correct me if I'm wrong, where it's like not beef related. Or I'm like, damn. I hope that ain't like, cause I know Fabulous, he ain't really like that type of nigga, like, not saying like in real life, I'm just saying like, his persona, he doesn't walk around like playing tough and wanting to beef with rappers. And like, I was expecting them to have like a Fat Joe and Jadakiss style podcast where they tell fun, classic hip hop stories. Maybe they do, but I'm just saying they don't be spreading and going viral with whatever stories they be telling. I feel like they need to work that angle, man, so that they can spread and become bigger. Because just becoming a beef podcast is kind of gonna put a ceiling on they shit for sure. You know what I mean? As a fan of, Dipset and these older niggas, at Fabulous as far. I wasn't really a fan of Mano or Dave East, but shout out to them niggas.
It's just flat out entertainment. Obviously, if you're a longtime Dipset fan, this isn't what you want to see. You don't want to see these two guys going at each other, but you just gotta accept that these two guys will never be cool with each other. So if you want to fuck with Jim Jones, you go support Jim. If you want to fuck with Cam, you go support Cam and his podcast. Or if you're neutral, you sit back and enjoy the entertainment. You guys get in the comments below. Are you guys concerned at all that people know what's going on at Jim Jones' podcast studio? It's gotta be the landlord leaking this information to everybody. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later, man.
All right, man. All right, y'all. That is for sure hilarious that they constantly keep having all the updates of what Jim Jones has going on at his establishment. Like if the rent is late, if the bills is behind, the heat is off. Like who is telling 50 Cent and Camron this information? It got to be an inside source, one of the homies. It got to be somebody. You know what I mean? Or they could be just trolling and running a cold narrative where they both like piggybacking, because that's not far-fetched from either one of those, 50 Cent or Camron. They could just be piggybacking and double teaming and running a whole narrative on this nigga and triggering that nigga, because he definitely went live. Well, not live. He definitely put out 2 videos walking around showing his establishment and what he got going and all this shit, that he's not behind on the bills and all that. So they definitely had him pressured up to go prove himself. So if they are trolling, it's working. And Jim Jones is trying to prove to the public that his bills are paid, that the place is under construction. It is progress being made. Because I saw the video where he said the gym is coming. They got a barbershop. They got a studio. Nothing was complete, though. But you can see the people in there with the wood and everything in there, like working the shit. So, hey, man, do we really care at the end of the day? No. But is it funny because, this is 50 Cent and Camron talking about it? That's what makes us care. But we really don't care at the end of the day. Jim Jones, we're just going to let you know right now, if you are behind on your bills and all that shit, we don't give a fuck. That's not our business. But it is funny to laugh at. We are neutral in this situation. I don't got no horse in this race. It's just something funny that's going on. Next week, something else will be going on between y'all. But right now, that shit is hilarious, and they cooking your ass. Now, I mean, let me know what y'all think in the comments section, though. I'm going to give y'all 2 seconds to smash a like. And as always, get ready for the next reaction.